Sherpas are some of the best climbers in the world. They're very humble, they're very quiet, so sometimes it's a little hard to drag things out of them, but once you get to know them and once you start working with them, they'll open up, and you can have them use gear and get feedback from them. And actually, one of the early Sherpas I worked with, his name is Babu Chiri Sherpa. The story started in Mountain Hardware somewhere around 1998. I don't remember the exact timeline, but it was Robert Link came down and said, "Hey, I've got a guy who's climbed Mount Everest 6 times. He has a speed climbing record for the mountain at the time, and he wants to spend the night on the summit of Everest." And I kind of rolled my eyes, kind of turned around, started working on my project. He goes, "No, Martin, seriously, this is for real. This person really wants to do this. I want you to meet him." I go, "Okay, bring him down." So down came this rather short gentleman, but he was about 5 feet in diameter. I think he was nothing but a big lung and a muscle. He had trees like tree trunks. The guy was just a very stout, strong person. And he said he wanted to spend the night on the summit of Everest. And I said, "Well, okay, if you're going to make that type of commitment, I'm willing to make the tent for you." So my sample sorter and I spent a week, and we told him to come back in a week, and we'll have a tent for you. So it made him a tent, and he ended up succeeding in his dream. He called the tent the Aksh, which means sky in Nepalese, and he was up on the summit for 24 hours.
People don't realize what the summit is.
The summit of Everest is 29,000 feet and change, and nobody's ever slept above, I believe it's 25,000 feet. And they have high winds high enough to blow you off the mountain, and so we had to make a very, very strong, light, small tent that Babu was capable of carrying up. So it had to be light, but also had to be strong enough to withstand. We figured 140-mile-an-hour wind. Now, I don't know really how much sleeping you do at the summit, but he definitely did spend some like almost 24 hours on the summit of Everest. And there's a funny story with that. With one of the bloggers wrote that the world's gone to hell because he got to the summit of Everest and his campsite was taken.
So, and nobody's done that since, right?
Nobody's done it before. Done it
like
since.
The first and only.
Nobody else. It's very dangerous to do that. You could get stuck up there with the bad weather, and at any time you could be start having respiratory issues. So you really have to make a big commitment and risk your life to do to pull something like that off.
So is it is it stressful designing stuff for people that are going to go out and totally hang it out? Risk their lives using that equipment?
Yeah. When Babu was on the summit of Everest, I didn't sleep that night. And the blogs were saying, did this guy design the world's highest coffin? And when I read that, I completely lost it. Because, it could have been, because a lot of people didn't think he could do it. And so that was a pretty scary time. So when you're making this very esoteric gear that people are using on very dangerous and very serious expeditions, it is very stressful because you don't know, it hasn't been tested. It's a new, you're making something new. You're going beyond your bounds, and so are the people using the gear. So it's sort of there's some teamwork there between the users and the designers and the people who make the gear.